How Aquaphor has not gained some professional athlete sponsorships is beyond me.
What is it called when you do your whole face? Isn't there a term?
Yeah, it's like slugging. I don't know.
That sounds like a drug.
Yeah.
We might laugh, we might learn, we might be your games with SMP.
What's up, guys? On today's episode, we are joined by Gotham FC defender Lily Reale. From growing up in Boston to winning a national championship at UCLA, Lily's career has been full of big moments, both highs and challenges. We talk about her decision to play all 4 years in college, her first USWNT national team call-up, to how she bounced back from a tough first pro start.
I love her vulnerability in this episode. I love how open she was talking about, making a mistake and how she had to come back after that. So it was really cool to hear from a pro. They're just like us. They mess up just like us, and they come back from it. So check out our interview with Lily.
We know you grew up in Boston and you ended up at UCLA. We'd love to go back to that part of your soccer journey. What made you go from East Coast to West Coast? Because I feel like that's a big jump.
When I first started my recruiting process, that was still when you could really commit whenever you wanted. So I had mostly looked East Coast at first and actually committed to Boston College for a little while. And then I got pulled into some of the youth national team camps and just, I think really being in that environment and playing with that caliber of players, being coached by those coaches, just really pushed me to like understand and try and figure out what I wanted to get out of my college experience. I think for me at first, soccer had always just been a really fun side thing that I was doing growing up. But school was definitely like a big priority for me, even throughout high school. I think it wasn't until, towards the end of high school that I was really like, this is something that not only do I want to play in college, but look into maybe playing and pursuing after college. But I think, going into some of those youth national team camps really pushed me to just explore my search again and like look at maybe some bigger programs where I would really develop and just be able to push myself to play professionally. UCLA was definitely a big jump for me, and I think I learned a lot there, but at the same time, it definitely pushed me in a lot of ways and was outside of my comfort zone. I think it took me probably until my sophomore year to really feel that I had made the right decision and feel comfortable all the way on the other coast. I come from a pretty big family, so it was definitely a hard adjustment moving across the country and just, not being able to see them for 5-6 months at a time. So that was definitely a big jump, but I think it really pushed me then to come into this environment and be able to, be independent and handle my own stuff like that.
Have you ever had a hard time balancing the academics with the soccer, and whether that be time management or just like desire to want to put effort towards one or the other? Like, do you ever feel kind of like an imbalance with that, or were you always pretty good at pouring into both of those buckets?
Yeah, I think for me, school has always been something that's, takes a lot of effort. I feel like soccer comes very easily. I'm excited to be at practice. I enjoy going to tournaments and playing games. Soccer was always just a great outlet to, hang out with my friends and have fun and, lose track of time a little bit. But definitely school has been hard, I think, in high school too. When you're traveling and you're missing big events or, you're missing school, you're missing class, trying to make up a bunch of work just piles up. So I think it definitely takes, a unique individual, and obviously college athletes and people who play sports know that struggle. Same goes for work. So people that are, working and going to school, I think it's just important for me, and my parents have always said this, like understanding how lucky I am to, have so many things going on and so many relationships and activities to be participating in. So I think that's always gotten me through, but definitely there have been times, in college being on the road and having to write a paper. It's just sometimes no fun, unfortunately.
That was the worst. That was truly like such an underrated, because like I feel like when you're in high school, there is the understanding that like school comes first and the sports are afterwards. It's like pretty defined for you. But then in college, it's just like, oh yeah, big exam on Friday. Like, you're not going to be there because you're going to be on a bus at a different state. And you're like, oh damn, like it is entirely on you to commit to making sure that you go out of your way to get those things taken care of. It truly is a little bit of a wake-up call.
No, 100%. I think too, in high school and throughout middle school, you have your parents to kind of help you and push you to stay in line with that stuff. But I think once you're in college, it's really, like you said, on you to communicate with your professors. Having a good relationship with them is really important too, because when you're on the road, it's obviously an inconvenience to them. So I think it's just, stuff that you learn along the way.
You're making me sweat just thinking about this. But that's so true. That's a really good point about having a good relationship with them, because if you're just sitting in the back of the class, not really introducing yourself or talking to them enough, and then you're missing classes for games and practice, it's like, but having that good relationship and rapport with them is so important. I mean, college soccer, being a college athlete is a job in itself. So it's learning those relationships early. I think it can also help you just in life to be, approachable and honest with them, and communication is so important. So you have been called up now for the U.S. team. Do you find that you respond differently to coaches, or are a different teammate, or depending on where you're playing, your style is different?
Going into the senior camp and even into this Gotham environment, I think definitely took some time to, show what my personality looked like, which is a really outgoing one. I think a lot of people, sometimes say that I have a big personality, and I think balancing that is really important. I don't want to be someone who comes off as cocky or like a little too outstandish in the room. So finding that balance of, obviously knowing my place and being a rookie, but also being someone that has a lot of experience and, can understand and wants to get the best out of her teammates. So finding that fine line. But as I said, I think just being a rookie right now again has been an awesome opportunity to understand and learn from players who have a lot more experience than me right now. So understanding, what they've gone through in the league and experiences that they've faced that maybe I get a little bit more upset about right now because I'm still so young and have so few experiences in the league. It's funny to like have conversations with some of the vets that are like, you'll laugh about that one day. Like, for example, the own goal in my first start. So that was kind of a crazy one.
Arta delivers. Banda sets it across. That is an own goal. Karen's in off Lily Reale in her first pro start.
Yeah, can you talk about that with us?
So obviously that was like 2 minutes into my first start. I had my whole family, my extended family there. My college roommate flew in for the game. So a lot of people coming to support me, which was awesome. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. Besides the own goal, I think that was obviously a really eye-opening and just like a vulnerable position to be in. Especially as a young rookie, like making her first start. But with that being said, I think I, learned a lot from that experience, in that, like, you're starting in a place that is so vulnerable. So how can you, get out of the headspace of being so negative to yourself and then trying to carry on and playing another basically 90 minutes?
I mean, you picked your head up right away. Like, you didn't take a beat.
I felt like I honestly, and I laugh about this with my teammates now, I feel like I didn't even have time to take in the stand and like the crowd that was there, just the environment and the atmosphere in general. So I joke about it now, just saying like after it happened, I was like head down, but then I was also just looking around, like trying to get myself like back into the game, and I'm looking around like as they're checking if it's offsides or whatnot, just sitting there like looking in the stands, and I'm like, wow, I didn't realize how many people were here. Like this is crazy. I can't believe this is happening. But at the same time, like I said, I think it was something that I definitely learned from, and it's something I can happily laugh about now. But obviously it was a really eye-opening and vulnerable experience to have, especially in my first start. Starting with a low like that has then helped me be able to navigate a lot of difficult experiences. I think everyone has told me that playing in the NWSL, it's a really rocky roller coaster that you just have to understand. You're going to have a lot of highs and have a lot of lows. So Yeah, starting with a low was not on my bingo card maybe, but it definitely set me up to, then create a mental space where I knew I could really do anything from that point on. So just trying to stay steady now. Yeah.
It's so interesting because some people could go into that situation and you're playing fearful the whole time, like scared to mess up and purposely trying to be perfect and scared of a bad pass and scared of this, and you're constantly shying away from, making a noticeable mistake. And then there's you rip the Band-Aid right off. But it allows you to not have to not keep that perfect persona, and that I didn't mess up. I haven't messed up yet. No eyes are on me for any negative attention. It's it gave you that moment. It's all right, here's this is the turning point. Do you want to move past this one? And now you can shake the nerves off. You've gotten a mistake out of the way. You don't have to try to keep that playing fearful of making a mistake mentality and then move forward from it. So it's really cool that, first off, not only were you able to move past it throughout the rest of the season, but even within that one game, you moved past that moment. And I'm just curious, what is your self-talk like when you mess up?
Yeah, I think for me, and this has been another thing that I think I've worked on throughout college, I think I've had experiences where I've given up a PK or gotten beat 1v1, as a center back. Things like that are unfortunately bound to happen. And I think in college, there have been times where I've, gotten really down after that, maybe taken myself mentally out of the game, even had maybe a couple tears during the game. So trying to shake that and be able to play, put up a good performance or just give my best effort and attitude and really try and wipe that mistake has been really hard for me in the past. And I think then going into that game too, I will say after the game, I cried for a little bit. That was definitely something I had to handle afterwards. But I think in the game, I was really just telling myself, unfortunately, it doesn't get any worse than this for right now. And luckily I'm healthy and I'm happy. I'm lucky to be on the field, and I will give a lot of credit to my teammates. I think they really picked me up quite quickly, just being it's no big deal. It happens. It happens to all of us. Let's just try and move on. Let's complete your passes, and we can talk about this at half if you need, but if not, we move from this. So yeah, having a back line with a lot of veterans has played, I feel I've learned a number of things from them. And especially in that moment, it felt they really had my back. So I think first and foremost, right after it happened, that helped me a lot. And then just taking a couple minutes to myself. Luckily, they had to check the offsides and interference of it all. So I had a minute and a half to just gather myself. And for me, I just really just kind of put my head down for a sec, but was just trying to focus on my breathing and, understanding that did just happen. It wasn't something I just dreamed about. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it all. But yeah, I think for me, just focusing on my breathing and then completing the next action is something that I've come to find really helpful in bad moments. But I knew it was something I didn't want to, affect my performance going forward. And I wanted to, prove that even though that mistake just happened, I was still ready to make the jump from college and into the professional environment. For that moment, I definitely had to take a little bit of time to gather myself and then just go into the rest of the game knowing that I was going to work my butt off, and then after the game, handle maybe some of the tears that come with it. But definitely has taken me a little bit of a longer time to get to a point where I can, compartmentalize and just finish the task at hand without carrying so much emotions that it takes away from my performance.
I love that advice. And I think that says a lot for anyone who is in the position where they've made a mistake, but it also says a lot for other teammates on the field. When someone makes a mistake, the impact you can have just by telling them brush it off right now, try to help them get out of that moment, because you really do feel it when you feel your teammates' frustrations with you. it only makes it worse. So you could highly like the fact that you're looking back on that game right now, and one of the first things you said was how your teammates kind of helped pull you out of that moment. Like that can be game changing. That can change the entire trajectory of a game. So I love that.
And your coach, right? Your coach also was like praising how afterwards you continue to play the game. Like that's huge. Some players would need to be subbed off after something like that, and you just continue to play well. And I think that's a huge testament to your teammates, to you, and to your coach. And I feel like that's part of the Gotham culture.
Yeah, I think that was honestly another thing that I was thinking about the whole time is just like I chose to come to this program because you have a coaching staff that believes in the players and players that are really going to try and get the job done despite any circumstances or positions they're put in. That's always been something that I feel like I've looked on to, and maybe it's kind of an East Coast thing too. I think that comes with it. No bias, I guess, but I really think
Great.
looking at the Gotham culture, it's just like something that's filled with a lot of passion and grit, and that was something before the game. Obviously, it was my first start, so I think being able to lead with those intentions and just remember the culture that they've created for me to now carry that onto the field, that also helps me in a moment like that. Just figure out, how can I just shake that one off and try and put forth my best performance, and how could I be aggressive and carry the things that this team and I pride myself on.
I love that. I think that's such great advice.
Thanks.
Alana, anything more before we jump into rapid fire?
No, just I appreciate your vulnerability and talking about like not just the highlight reel of your playing career, because those are the moments that really separate you from someone who's not gotten through adversity or through difficult moments like that. So I just think that's really awesome to talk about, and it helps normalize it too, because we all mess up, but it's all the plays you make after that really matter the most. So thank you for sharing
I appreciate that.
We got some silly rapid fire questions if you have a couple more minutes for them.
Yeah, let's do it.
What's your dream Super Bowl halftime show?
Ooh, okay, with the Taylor Swift album coming out, and also I've seen some little predictions that she might be the next halftime show. I think that would be an awesome one. I've also been a pretty big Bieber fan since I was little, so I think that would be another one. And then maybe SZA. I think she's a good one, and has a lot of like features that could be really fun.
What is one Olympic sport that you could fake it till you make it and not come in last?
Maybe like beach volleyball. I don't know. That was something that we got into at UCLA, especially during the springtime. There were like a lot of beach volleyball courts we could go on. So that was always really fun to play. I'm not sure I did that well, but I could definitely just, hit some sets for people to then finish off.
There you go.
What's one thing you can't travel without on an away game trip?
I'm a big Aquaphor girl. This is kind of random, but I have really prized, and yeah, I think that's something I need. In my eye mask. Like I have come to really need my eye mask at all times whenever I'm sleeping, because anytime I see, like I wake up and can see the light, I'm awake now for the day, unfortunately.
How Aquaphor has not gained some professional athlete sponsorships is beyond me. Be the biggest no-brainer.
Yeah. What is it called when you do your whole face? Isn't there a term?
Yeah, it's like slugging. I don't know.
That sounds like a drug.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a drug, slugging. But actually, do you remember, Alana, this, I don't know if you did this, but people used to call it beezing. You'd put Thirsties on your eyelids and it would burn. And I'm like,
I've heard of that too. Yeah, I don't know why anyone would willingly do that, but
yeah, like, are you beezing? So are you slugging? All right, well, maybe Aquaphor will listen to this. So not Aquaphor.
I couldn't spell without ever learning that term, slugging. All right, if you could have dinner with any athlete, any sport, retired, not retired, whatever, who would you have dinner with?
probably like LeBron James or something, or Jason Tatum. I'm a big Celtics fan, actually, so I think I'll lock in Jason Tatum there.
Doesn't he have a really adorable son, Jason Tatum? Yeah, so he can come too.
Yeah, he can. Entertainment for everyone.
Yeah, that's a good one. What's something on your bucket list? It could be soccer or it could just be life bucket list.
Okay, I would probably have to wait till after soccer's over, but I would love to go skydiving. I think that would be really fun. I'm not someone who's like super afraid of heights, but at the same time, Like, I know it would be a really scary experience, but it's something that I think would be really fun after it's successfully happens.
Is that on the no activity list for professional athletes?
Now that I said that, honestly, if it wasn't before, I know better though.
That would be cool though. Yeah, I've done skydiving and bungee jumping. Skydiving, I enjoyed way more. Bungee jumping, it was like I feared for my life. Skydiving, it was a beautiful view, and you were with someone. So.
Yeah, because I've done the bungee jumping at like Six Flags maybe, and they just like bounce you up and down. I'm okay with that without that one. Like I think I do without that in my stomach, like turning in knots.
Yeah, skip that one.
Or what is one reality show you would want to be a guest star on?
Maybe like Chopped or like a cooking show.
Yeah.
Just so I can just like eat all the food.
No one ever says the Food Network shows. That's always where my brain goes.
Right. Like, yeah, anything involving food, I'll have that, please. Thank you.
And last question, what's your biggest soccer goal, Prob?
Ooh. Honestly, doing my hair on game day is just something I don't really look forward to. I think that's my biggest problem right now, like, fortunately. But let me try and think of anything else.
What's the go-to game day hair for you?
Just a slick back bun. So it's really not that hard to execute, but
Some days it just doesn't hit the same way.
exactly. And that's, yeah, I'm like, why is my hair like that? What's going on? That, or I keep getting a lot of bruises on my shins, and I don't wear shin guards in practice because, like, we don't really have to, but maybe I need to start. Because, yeah, I have matching bruises all along my shins on both sides, so something has
Those gents don't go away.
Yeah, stay forever. It's got to start with some accountability from me there.
Well, Lily, thank you so much for coming on. It was great to get to know you, and thanks for sharing so much. We really appreciate it. We know our listeners will too.
Thank you guys for having me, though. This was really fun.
Something that has played in my head quite a few times over the years. When I was in high school, my first day of soccer, making the varsity team, I'm walking out on the track towards the soccer field, and the men's team was playing on the field next to us, and one of the seniors on my team pantsed me in front of the boys' team. It was so traumatic. I had on like child underwear, like something stupid that I should not have.
Our panties.
Yeah, something like my lucky underwear that was way too old. Like I should not have had them on. And like most people didn't even know my name yet, but they just remembered like that was the girl who got pants on the first day of practice.
Was this senior your friend?
We just met each other. She was just like the goofball of the team.
Yeah, there's always one.
And like she just like she got away with it. You know, the players who could just like no one's mad at them just because it's Julia. Well, Julia did it to me on day one. There's nothing I could do about it. Like I had to just keep walking. I mean, I pulled my pants up.
I was like, with your pants around your ankles still? Speaking of getting pantsed, I'll never forget this. There was this game. I want to say it was like, I think it was high school soccer also. I think it was high school soccer, but it was like the middle of a really intense game, and the ball was going out of bounds, and thank God this did not happen to me, but this girl was like going full speed on my team to try to save it, and she like turned her hips and like cut the ball back at the last second to save it, but then it involved her like falling backwards, like going that way, and the grass just took her pants and put them all the way down to her ankles. It wasn't like they like pulled them down like halfway. They were down around her ankles. Like the physics just lined up.
What was her name? We're out.
Jillian, shout out to you. She remembers it because we talked about it all of the time. I just remember that it happened like literally right in front of the benches where like all the parents are sitting. It could not have been more like front and center stage of everyone watching the game.
That's so terrible. All right, well, this sparked another memory for me. I remember being in like my first year of travel soccer, and the lines of the field like always switched every week at Bayman. Like they kept switching it because of where the grass was or whatever. In my head, so in my head the ball was out of bounds, and I went to pick it up for a throw-in, and the ref blew the whistle, and I was like 15 feet on the field, like not even near the out of bounds. And I just remember like picking it up and being so confused. Everyone on the field was like, what are
you doing, Shannon?
Yeah, it was so crazy. So that I remember feeling really embarrassed, and that I definitely did not play well after.
And you're just like standing there with the ball in your hands, and everyone's like,
What am I doing?
what else was pretty embarrassing for us is when we were in college and we would go to, well, away games or even our own home games, and the other team would find out that we were soccer girl probs, and they would like come with signs and like be shouting things from the videos at us while the game was going on. It was fun.
Do you remember one kid, you might have graduated, one kid was playing our videos over a speaker with the lines from our video. I remember it was like a spring game and we were playing like Central Connecticut or something, and he was playing the lines from our like Shit Soccer Will Say like 1 and 2, and I was like,
honestly, props to him, because that is like mental warfare. That would have taken me out.
what fan out of college was coming to our spring game and doing that? He must have been someone's like boyfriend and he got paid or something. But yeah, he got it in my head for sure.
Yeah, honestly, props to him for that one. That was good.
Yeah. Do you remember during preseason when we have to, this is an off the field embarrassing, but still soccer related, where we would like, we play some sort of game like in between sessions, and like whoever lost had to give their Facebook password, like Facebook up.
Yes.
And you guys
Never do that.
this again, I think it was my freshman year, maybe. Yeah. And you guys messaged John Lobo on the cross country team, they were all like, it was kind of funny actually that we did it this way, but we all stayed in the same dorm. Remember, like all of the preseason teams. So like you were like seeing all like the cross country boys in their little shorts, like, you know, like staying down the hallway. But they messaged him from my Facebook and were like, "Hey John, I saw you walking in your little shorts. Like, I have a big crush on you. My name's Shannon." Like, we were both freshmen, and like for 2 years I like avoided him because of that. It was so embarrassing.
Man, that's rough to give your teammates your password.
Yeah.
That's a nasty punishment. When I was a freshman, we had to do mandatory freshman karaoke on the bus. Did you ever have to do that?
No.
I hated this with my whole heart. I was on a long away trip, so you're like on a bus for 6 hours with nothing else to do, and there was a microphone up to the overhead speakers, and every freshman had to go up and karaoke a full song.
What did you do?
It was rough. You know what's so funny? It must have been so traumatizing that I blacked it out, because I do not remember. I have no recollection of doing it, just the feeling of embarrassment.
That's wild. Remember at the MLS All-Stars, I did Kiss by Prince. And I think it was like right after he died, and I did like not pay like homage to him. Like, it was so bad I started crying on stage. I was like 25 years old. It's like, I gotta get off this. So I get a
Karaoke is never a good choice, for us at least.
So what's the moral of the story here? It's just like embarrassing moments are gonna happen, and don't worry, in 10 years from now it won't matter. Even though it matters to us that we're still haunted from it.
Oh yeah, but if you're a freshman on a team right now, I feel like you're like the most prone to embarrassment as a freshman.
Yeah.
Everything feels embarrassing. You like, your ice bag falls down and you're like, I'm so embarrassed about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're going through that right now, it's okay.
I mean, kudos to you if you're a freshman, you have confidence and you don't super high confidence and you don't ever feel embarrassed, but just know everyone's going through the same thing you do, and everyone did. Everyone was a freshman at some point and like maybe a little insecure and had those times. I mean, Lily is a professional and she had an embarrassing moment and she bounced back from it. So you got this. All right, guys, that's it for today. Are you going to start sludging? Are you slugging?
Either way, every girl has a big tub of Aquaphor that is just like,
just waiting to be used all over your face. All right, I'm gonna try it. I'm scared. I'm terrified, but let's give it a go.
they do clog the pores, but you know, it's got to be a trend for a reason, right?
She had great skin. But guys, make sure you follow us on all the things: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, everything. Leave us a review and stay hydrated out there. Bye.
Later.
Sludging. Sludging.
Soccer girls, you know we got some problems, so tune on in our way we talking how to solve them. We might laugh, we might learn, we might